I think our best one is always our next one.
Peter Adamakas founded Disada Productions in Montreal in 1971. 3 years ago, he moved the animation and live-action studio to Ottawa, where it operates out of a quiet West End neighborhood.
We had a whole building in Montreal. It even had a theater in it, and it had carpentry and apartments for people to go flake out in. And it was totally the opposite of the way we work now. First, I don't babysit anymore. And second, animation takes long enough that you can bring a week's work in and just review it in a fairly short period of time. And so I don't have to basically provide the studio for people to work in. Now, we do at the beginning of a project, of course, very intensively. But for the most part, people can do what they want.
Doing what they want seems to be the mantra for this burgeoning animation studio, and they've been doing it for 3 decades.
We see our company as being very different from others in that we love to try different things. We won't get stuck in a rut, and we don't want to be known just for one thing.
So far, so good. From Canada's first syndicated comic strip to computerized animation, Disada is decidedly different. Always searching for the magic. They found it in Winnie Witch and the Giant Potato. In the early days of Disada, the Lizard Witch and her dumb-as-a-potato sidekick were regulars in many Canadian households. First as a daily black and white as well as color weekend comic strip, then fully animated for a children's television show.
Showed it to his friend.
These days, Disada is working on bringing Winnie and Potato back in a full animation feature. Over the years, even before Disada was founded, Peter collected what are now valuable bits of animation history. This exhibition at Heritage Museum in Smiths Falls was one of many Peter has proudly displayed.
Well, rule number 1 is don't throw anything away. So you keep all your old books and comic books and so on, and before you know it, you have a collection. But then I also tried to collect original animation art in the days when it was affordable. And we found that we amassed a pretty good collection and began to display it in museums around the world. We've had some Warner Brothers exhibitions and some Disney exhibitions and general animation exhibitions, and it's got everything from the original art to the posters to the memorabilia and that, and it's a lot of fun putting them together, and it's a lot of fun seeing the reactions of people.
Folks are fascinated by how labor-intensive animation is, and was, certainly before computers came along. It takes 24 frames or drawings to achieve 1 second of animated action.
I guess what attracts me most to animation is that it is pure creativity. I mean, just think of it. You start with a blank sheet of paper and a pencil. I mean, what could be more basic than that? Before the age of computers, if you wanted to show a scene with a lot of depth, you had to isolate all the elements and shoot them on different levels. For example, the tree is on a different level than the background or the characters. And with actual space between them, as you shoot through these transparent levels, you get the feeling of depth. This scene is from a 1971 cartoon theatrical short that we did for Columbia Pictures called Insomnia or Bust.
Yo, Rockman, haven't seen you in a few millennia. Give me some tassel.
Walt Disney has been a dominant influence in Peter's approach to animation. Watching Disney's productions as a young boy fed a dream that would itself come to life.
A minute. I'm your master?
That's right. He can be
I wrote a letter to Walt Disney when I was 11 and told him that I was going to do an animation company, call it Disada, Disney, Adamacus, Disada. He sent back a letter saying, well, thanks for the top billing, which neither I or my parents understood. It took a few years before we knew what that meant.
We'll love our plantation home.
People make a difference between the old characters and the new characters today. They find the old ones well-rounded, literally, in the way that they're drawn. They are not so angular, so stylish, and this, I think, leads to them being more accepted as real characters. I mean, to me, Bugs Bunny is real, you know.
Well, here we are.
But then so is Homer Simpson. He's real, too.
There, right as rain.
Because we know people like that, unfortunately. I think The Simpsons is the best thing on TV, period. But at the same time, animation gets elevated to more than just a joke, more than just a gag, when you're into that Disney Warner personality type of animation.
Some of the talent working with Disada today encountered Peter as their teacher at Algonquin College.
I personally enjoy, especially as I get older, creating careers for people, almost rescuing people who would be lost in the sea of conformity anywhere else, and letting them lead their own projects. I think this is the best possible time to ever be in animation. I think that individual people will be able to connect with audiences because of things like the internet without needing the approval of distributors and other middlemen who are usually naysayers. I think that it is the best time to unleash more garbage than you've ever seen, but probably more hidden gems and great people than we'll have ever known.
Do, re, mi, fa. Do, re, mi, fa. So
one magazine writer once wrote that we're more of a campus than a studio. And I think that's partially true because we're always learning. There's always new things to explore.
Wow, Kath, Peter is on a roll. 3 decades in the business. Doesn't look like he'll have to ever say, that's all, folks.
No, on with the show. This is it. Thanks a lot, Peter. It was great fun spending time with all his strange and wonderful characters.
Yeah, it sure was. Lots of fun. Thanks, Peter. Well, Regional Contact will be right back after this break.